Good morning, colleagues. So it's the appointed time. On form of the quorum, I declare the meeting, I call the meeting to order. There are several items to be discussed today. The first item is information paper issued since the last meeting. Since the last meeting, there has not been any information paper issued. Second item, items for discussion at the next meeting. The next regular meeting will be held on the 5th of May, which is a Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. The administration proposes the following two items be discussed first: update on Hong Kong Disneyland Resort, and second, proposal to make permanent one supernumerary post of Administrative Officer Staff Grade C in the Transport and Logistics Bureau. Any views from members on the government's proposals? If not, let's move on to item 3, the latest implementation progress of the action plan on Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering. So let's invite the administration team to join us. Welcome, Deputy Secretary for Transport and Logistics, Ms. Amy Chan, and her team for attending the meeting. And the panel has discussed this item in the last meeting on the 27th of March, but there was insufficient time, so we will carry on with the discussion today. So members who would like to speak, please press the request to speak button. Every member will be given 3 minutes, including questions and answers. Let me read out the names of the members. Mr. Stephen Ho, Mr. Lau Kar-kang, Mr. Chan Xiu-hong, Mr. Vincent Tang, Mr. Webster Ng, Mr. Alan Chan, and myself. Since we have been introduced to a PPT presentation last time, so we'll now move to the Q&A session. Mr. Stephen Ho, Deputy Chairman. Thank you, Chair. I'd like to thank the SAR government in building the LNG stations, have communicated with us and have addressed many of our issues. We have particularly raised that for bunkering barges and the fairway, that there can be no very good proposals, but I think what matters is that we should communicate with our counterparts on the mainland to achieve better results. So my question is, now the plan has been implemented for a couple of years, and in terms of the adjustment of the fairways, will there be room for further optimization? So when vessels enter the bunkering points, the trade has told us that not enough information has been given to them, and their operation has been affected as a result. So the SAR government, have you been communicating sufficiently with the trade? Personally, I don't think you have done enough. So I suggest that the Marine Department and other departments shall be proactive in raising such issues in their annual meetings with the trade. And also, please issue some guidelines. And if there are any incidents which happened, please inform them of the same. I think that will work better. 2 questions. Deputy Secretary. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Ho. The SAR government, especially the MD and the TLB, in relation to Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering, we are very concerned. And we have set up a one-stop team within the Marine Department to take up the issue. And I would be bringing your concerns back to the relevant colleagues. We should not wait for the annual meetings. We will report the same as immediately. And the fairways are relative new, so people are more concerned. Now, we have done 16 operations, and we are going to do more bunkering operations this year. Now, if more bunkerings are to be done, is there room for further communication and improvement? Yes, we would like to gauge views from the trade to do better. So why do I have to say this? Well, we talk about the fairway. So alternative routes have to be taken for the vessels to go for bunkering. So the fairways have been fixed and it will not be changed in the future. So flexibility will be lost. And for the design of the barging points, I have also reflected to the administration and said that whether we should be putting in more barging points or bunkering points. So apart from being bunkering points, can those be made sales points as well? Deputy Secretary, Mr. Ho may be referring to the transit points of the CLP in LNG. Right now is not a bunkering point. It's just a collection point, but as to how things will go forward in the future, we will have an open mind, and we have heard Mr. Stephen Ho's views. We will follow up duly after the meeting. Mr. Lau Ka-keung, thank you. The geopolitical situation in the Middle East is very tense, and there are great fluctuations in oil prices, and the operating costs of the shipping industry has gone up. Hong Kong is an international shipping center. We must expedite green transformation so that Hong Kong can become a green maritime fuel bunkering and trading center as soon as possible. I support the government in taking forward the relevant work. So my concerns are as follows. In paragraph 9, it is said that the government will complete a feasibility study on the development of green ammonia and hydrogen bunkering in Hong Kong. So do you have a concrete timetable for us? Apart from inviting the relevant expertise to help you with the study, will you also be inviting those from the trade so that they can give you views from the trade? And in paragraph 18, it is also mentioned that the government are actively identifying partners to establish green shipping corridors. The aim is to identify at least one suitable port by the end of 2026. So what are the criteria for seeking partners? So would you be considering prioritizing ports which have close economic relations with Hong Kong and which are intent on going green? Thank you, Mr. Lau. Deputy Secretary, on the feasibility study on green ammonia and hydrogen bunkering, we have already started our work, and we aim to announce the results by the end of the year. Well, this is something new around the world, and once the results are known, we together with the MD will solicit views from those experienced in the activities, and we'll have exchange with them. We will do this on a frequent basis. We've done the same with LNG and green methanol bunkering. We will do our very best to engage the trade. Now, as for paragraph 18, Mr. Lau, what you said are important criteria that we will take on board. We will not do it on a casual basis. It must come with the intention to do something like ours. And in building new green shipping corridor, we have certain objectives, decarbonization objectives to achieve. We are very working hard there has been a short list of candidates, and we'll get in touch with the relevant ports. It's just like marriage. We'll have to discuss with them on coming up with something. Mr. Chen Siu-hong, thank you, Chair. First, on action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering, the government has done a lot of work, and progress has been achieved on all fronts. And you will come up with good results very soon. What I'm interested is on the action plan. There are two objectives. That is, by 2026, compared to 2019, carbon emission from ships will be reduced by 11%, and 550% of the government fleet will adopt green fuel. Will we be achieving the targets within this year? Now, the government has been proposing for turning Hong Kong into a green maritime fuel bunkering and trading center. Will the government consider further establishing Hong Kong as a center for certification and accreditation of green maritime fuel? Would you be setting standards in those fronts so that we can enjoy unique advantages in these activities? Last question. When the government is embarking on such initiatives, will you be coming up with a comprehensive and forward-looking monitoring mechanism and framework? And would you also be trying to step up the liaison between the financial sector and also the maritime sector so that the trade can further develop? 3 questions. Well, thank you, Mr. Chan, for your comments. We do have information on your question in terms of the number of registered vessels in Hong Kong and also the use of green fuel in the government fleet. And our goal is that actually the government fleet is now using biodiesel, which is a kind of green fuel. And in 2026, and we aim to change the fuel into 50% of the government fleet. And as for the 11% decarbonization target, we have 2 incentive schemes proposed in the paper. And the first one is about green vessels registered in Hong Kong, which are using green vessels, and the scheme will last for 3 years, and we'll give them $60,000 subsidies per year. As long as they're registered, they can come forward for the subsidy. We expect that the incentive will attract 100 additional green vessels in Hong Kong. Right now, we already have 70, so we do have confidence that we can achieve the target. Now, as for whether we would set up a standardization and certification standard, and I think these are quite essential in our building ourselves into a bunkering center. We are partnering with universities in R&D work, and I hope that later on we can give you a further report. Now, as for safety monitoring mechanism, the Marine Department has oversight on maritime safety, and they are working very hard on this front as well. And the registration and our safety framework are in line with international standards, and we have become a reference for the green Greater Bay areas as well. Like what Mr. Chan said, we should leverage our financial services to help build this bunkering center. So we will pay attention to every aspect that you mentioned. Mr. Vincent Zhang.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I support carbon emission reduction and reducing the negative impact on the environment. This is an international trend. The document states that we should use more green maritime fuel, which I support. On carbon reduction, this is an important step for us to build a good harbor. We're talking about barges, large vessels, and cargo ships. But Hong Kong has a lot of other kinds of vessels, like yacht and cruise. I'm wondering if the transformation will proceed the same way. The Environment Bureau has come up with a new plan for electric cruise. So will you enhance the plan so as to make the Victoria Harbour greener? The document also mentions that we need to build a new anchorage. In the Victoria Harbour, there are more cruise trips attracting visitors and the citizens. So I know you will give consideration to the routes, but in your consideration, can you please also take into account the experience of visitors and the need of local residents?
主席，多謝鄭議員。
Deputy Secretary. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chen. We're working with the Environment Department in carbon reduction. We're partnering very well. And as you mentioned in paragraph 27, these anchorages are in response to the increase of green fuels, and we are reviewing our process, and we are rearranging the anchorages. They should be far from the residential areas. They need to be safe. So in the result, this is exactly what you need. It's far from the populated areas, and it's near the harbor. Let me give you an example. In the rearrangement process in Tsuen Wan, there used to be an anchorage which was for traditional fuels, but this place was replaced. This is very close to the residential area. I believe this water area will be used by a lot of citizens in the future. I agree with the position in principle, so I hope you can use the same way of consideration in the future. But can you please talk about electric cruises? Is this in your consideration as well? If there are local vessels, and this is part of the Environment Department's job, but our focus is on ocean-going vessels, so we can arrange for better bunkering facilities for them. Thank you. Next, Mr. Webster. Thank you, Chair. I support this framework, but I'd like to seek some clarification on disclosure. According to the paper provided by the document, the incentive plan, on the incentive plan, the budget is 23.2 million. So altogether for 3 years, all the 3 years budgets added up to 23 million. But in paragraph 24, you said there will be 170 Green Maritime Fuel powered vessels benefiting from the scheme. So that means for the first year, 90 years, second year, 125, and the third year, 169 vessels. So there will be 386 visits, not in vessels. Well, first, I'd like to seek clarification on the table. If you're talking about 170 vessels benefiting from the scheme, does that mean that the number is confusing? Because we should be talking about 386 visits. And I'm also seeking clarification on whether this calculation is reasonable, because for the first year and the second year, there will be no vessel exiting the plan. If that's true, there will be zero churn rate. If there are vessels exiting from the plan, then in the future, the budget will not be 23 million. And the number, if I understand correctly, might be overestimated. Is that true? Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Well, there is a fluidity in the register of vessels, but it's not very high, because to register a vessel concerns very high cost. We're talking about financing, insurance, and other arrangements. So vessel registration is a crucial decision for any vessel owner. This is not our first incentive plan. Why 3 years? We hope that we can lock them in for 3 years. We hope that they can be using our scheme for 3 years, developing a habit, because it's a high cost, opportunity cost for them to replace the vessel registration place. Of course, Mr. Your point is valid, but we are proceeding given our prior experience. If there are vessels exceeding the scheme, we can make an effort to rescue this number. We hope that after 3 years, there will be over 300 vessels meeting our target. Now, follow-up question. Next one, Mr. Alan Chen. Thank you, Chair. I support this scheme, but there are 2 questions from my side. Number 1, I hope that the Undersecretary can provide a response. Number 1, on the competitiveness of our incentive plan. I know the second question has to do with industrial coordination in the GBA. Globally, by March 2026, there are 112 bunkering vessels, more than 2024, which was 106. And for the total volume of the industry, it's increasing to 5.75 billion, increasing by 25%. But we are only offering an incentive plan of over 30 million. If you compare us with other competitors like Singapore, we seem not to be very competitive. This is my first question. Is that true? To promote bunkering operation in Hong Kong by the large vessel operators, are we competitive enough? This is the first question. Secondly, on industrial coordination in the GBA, we know that the supply for green vessels, how can Hong Kong complement with other neighboring regions like Guangzhou? The action plan says that we need to build Hong Kong into a bunkering center and transaction center. I believe that the transactional trading center is a key point because we need to face the competition from mainland cities. Secondly, are we considering using Hong Kong as a production base of green fuels? Secondly, does the administration have any policies to make sure that we leverage on Hong Kong's unique advantage, like common law jurisdiction, so we can develop Hong Kong into a trading center for green fuels, not only a bunkering center? Thank you. 3 questions and some mini questions. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Thank you for your interest in our competitiveness of the incentive scheme. Yes, we need to strike a balance. We're faced with financial pressure, and we are offering some competitive scheme. This is not an easy job to do. Before the action plan, we did some research, and we did see that globally, all the ports were promoting transportation of green fuel, and there were some concession in port dues. So our incentive schemes are just similar to these schemes. On vessel registration, on the concession of port dues, 60,000, this is enough to offset their tonnage fee, because Hong Kong charges lower tonnage fee compared with other neighboring ports like Singapore. So if you just look at the absolute amount, you probably think that the $60,000 is not very much, but we can offset an annual tonnage fee already. So it's very attractive to the ship owners. As for trading center question, please don't forget that green fuels are also commodities. In February this year, we received your support, and in this year, we will also provide a half-tax incentive to the ship owners. And now the profit tax stands at 8.25%. This is very competitive. Every time when I talking about this in the mainland, people suddenly became very interested. Well, as for the competitiveness of Hong Kong, let me give you an example. On 25th March, we conducted for the first time bunkering operation, and the production base was Zhanjiang, Guangdong province, and we transport them to Hong Kong for bunkering. This is a cooperation covering all industrial chains. This model can be replicated in the GBA. We can see there will be more production bases in the GBA. Before they could build storage facilities, it would take them 8 hours to transport fuel to Hong Kong. This is totally under control. So in the future, on top of this model, we will use more Hong Kong facilities, and we will better cooperate with other partners. So we do need to work with the mainland cities in order to enhance this industry. As for the trading center question, this year in the budget, as the financial secretary said, shipping industry is closely linked to financial industry, so that is indeed included in our plan. Thank you, Undersecretary, for your detailed response. There are 7 members waiting to speak, so I would draw a line after Mr. Tommy John. Thank you, Chair. I support the development of green fuels. Here in paragraph 14, it says, fuel supply is an important link, and globally, there is limited supply of green fuel globally. So my question, is Hong Kong well positioned to establish a production base for green fuel, like with garbage or wastes? If it's true, then in Hong Shui Q and Pat Nai, there a land reserved for relevant development projects. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chong. Indeed, we have noticed in the international markets, especially in China, there are some progress in the development of green fuel production. But we need to see whether there is a market demand. In our visits, we see some projects that have been very mature, but they have not started operation yet. Yes, indeed, it's because of the lack of market demand. These days, the IMO is pushing decarbonization, and also given what's happening recently in the Middle East, people have deep concerns about the global energy market. I believe the transformation of green fuel will be accelerated. With market demand, investment will come. It doesn't take long, maybe in 1 or 2 years. We are very open from the perspective of Hong Kong. If there are individual cases, we're willing to help. On top of the lands in Hong Shui Q, we are also working with the development department in proceeding with the development of Tui Mung West in the reclamation area, providing a storage area for the green fuel production. Thank you. Next, Mr. Yu Palo. Thank you, Chair. I support the development of maritime green fuel. I can see that the administration has done a lot of research, as the document shows, and there was comparison with other ports, and I can see some clear targets with tonnage fees, port dues, and registration fees. Some incentive plans have been provided. And as the Undersecretary said, given the sharp increase of fuel prices internationally, the future trends would be going towards transformation of green fuel. We believe this is a good opportunity to step up our efforts to develop green fuels and strive for more advantage in Hong Kong. Well, my question is a bit off topic, probably, but my question is similar to Mr. Chen's. You know, I'm very concerned about yachts and cruises in their energy transition process. We hope, well, we talked about cruise terminal and onshore electric facilities a lot in the past, and they need to be going to convert themselves into green ports. In the future, in cruise-related projects and yacht-related projects, will there be onshore electric charging facilities as well? Undersecretary.
多謝姚
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Yu, for your question. Onshore charging is a direction that we are heading towards in going green, but in the action plan, we don't mention anything about this. And for the planning of the cruise terminal, I know that the EEB and other relevant bureaus are studying the matter, and I will convey your views on yachts to the government. So in future, when we plan for land use and plan for projects, we should pay attention to it, and we should be mindful about the availability of charging facilities. So those have to be planned in advance. I fully agree. You should plan in advance, well in advance. If you have such facilities, you will be able to encourage people to go green. Thank you, Mr. Yu, for your comment. Ms. Nixie Lam. Thank you, Chair. I support the action plan. You mentioned that a location in Chinwan, the dangerous goods location would be relocated further away from residential areas. It's around Ramblers Strait. I have been serving in the Chinwan District Council for 2 terms, and residents have been complaining to me about the hazards of dangerous goods. All along, I've advocated for the facility to be relocated, and we've studied into whether it should be relocated to some outlying islands. It is near the residential developments and a park frequented by the residents. So I fully support the facility to be relocated. Will there be any noise pollution in the relocation exercise? Residents will be very concerned because the facility is near the shore. How will it be done? Will there be noise pollution caused in the relocation exercise? Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Lam, for your comment. It will take time to relocate the facility. Can I defer to Mr. Law to talk about the flow, the work process, rather? Thank you. We plan to relocate the facility near Rambler Strait. In the relocation process, the party has to pay for removing the buoys, and the buoys come with chains and a concrete structure underneath and so on. So the barges will lift up the entire facility and then relocate it to somewhere else, and it will be relocated to the anchorage number 1 and 2 of Kellet Bay Bank. The facilities are theirs, and they will handle and store such facilities themselves. So they will have to install the new facilities according to the prescribed requirements, and there will be lifting processes involved. The Marine Department colleagues will oversee the process to make sure excessive noise will not be produced and the safety will be made a top priority. Yes, you didn't mention anything about the timetable. We understand that some noise may be produced. Well, what will be the time frame? 3 months or 6 months, and what hours of the day will the operation take place? Marine Department, it will be carried out mostly in daytime, not in the evening. The buoys operators have to pay for the relocation exercise, so they will be gradually removed within 3 years. Mr. Chan Pok Chi, the administration has communicated frequently with the trade and the stakeholders. What about the impact on the fishing industry? Can you say something? And you said that you have conducted an in-depth research. $60,000 may be appealing now, but very soon you will see a large number of countries installing infrastructure facilities, and they are also ramping up their bunkering capabilities as well. So do you have a timetable of your entire plan in commercializing the activity? Mr. Chan, we will be rearranging the anchorages. There will not be any impact on the fishing operations. The anchorages may be scaled up, may be relocated. The fishermen can still fish in areas around the anchorages, and we would auto-legislate on the traffic separation schemes, and that will only enhance safety in sea waters, and that will even be better for the fishermen. If it is not statutory now, the fishermen say that they don't know how or where to fish. And say if bunkering barges are around, then, well, the fishermen's fishing activities will be affected. What we're doing will rather improve the safety for the fishermen. We have explained to the fishermen and to the relevant district councils when you have incorporated their comments as much as possible, and we have given them a look at our amended legislation. They are happy with that. We will continue to liaise closely with the fishermen. Now, as on the question on scale, there is a technical point in relation to green maritime fuel bunkering. Their energy density is lower compared to conventional fuel. So that means the volume of bunkering has to be bigger. And if the tanker size remains the same, the bunkering operation number of bunkering operation has to be more. So the anchorages have to be more, because the vessels have to go to the different bunkering points to get more bunkering operations done. While Hong Kong has inherent advantages, we are ranked 7th in terms of the size of bunkering in the world. We are geographically located in a very advantageous position. We are in the southern tip of the South Sea, so it's a place where vessels must go through sometimes, so we must transform ourselves. And there is no limit to the scale of our operations. The more, the better. And at the same time, we'll be watching closely the latest developments around the world and in neighboring regions to map out the right strategy. In November last year, we have set up a communication platform with some 30 partners, and in the first meeting, there were 60 participants. So we pulled in everyone to have discussions with us, and we will discuss issues of common concern. We all want to provide a platform for those in the supply chain to learn to make new friends, so that the whole chain will become better. Mr. Holden Chow, thank you, Chair. So I'm all in for the action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering. The Commissioner and department officials have talked to us a lot in the past. And in fact, in the past, I have also held a seminar with those in the trade. And we focus particularly on Tuen Mun district and how the district can help with such operations. Tuen Mun does have a role to play, because in Tuen Mun West, there will be a storage facility for green fuel to be set up. And many jobs will be created. Many industries will be pulled in, for example, testing, certification, R&D, bulk commodity trading, and so on. So we would like to make use of this opportunity to create more jobs in Tuen Mun. I believe that the Commissioner has heard a lot from me on this point. And I would like to express 2 points here. First, we talk about testing and certification. The Commissioner must know about this. How green is the green fuel? Well, the requirements on the green content in green fuel are very high. Chairman, you are well aware of this because you've been following up on this. So can Hong Kong play a role in certifying the green content of green fuel? Since we are aiming to build a bunkering center in Hong Kong, would that be a direction that we should be heading towards too? And in Tuen Mun West, R&D activities can also be put there so that we can have an entire industrial chain and an industrial cluster there. So more jobs can be created for residents in the vicinity. That's my first point. Second point is a question. The paper mentions this, and I'm happy to see that the administration has incorporated our views that you will work with other cities to have green collaboration, including setting up a green shipping corridor. In Shanghai, Shanghai has been very proactive, and it has identified Rotterdam to build a green corridor with them. So if vessels ply in this corridor, they will be given concessions and incentives. Can you share with us your thinking in this area? So one question and one comment. Thank you, Mr. Chow, for your comment on Tuen Mun West. I think the location has great potential. From September to November last year, we have disposed the land in Qingyi South, and we received 8 submissions of expressions of interest, or rather 7 expressions of interest, and the feedback is very encouraging. The storage facility is there for bunkering activities nearby. But then in some submissions, it is said that maybe some commodities can also be put there as well. So the market is interested in doing that as well. So I believe the same will go for Tuen Mun West. There will be a lot of market interest. And we are going to build an industrial cluster. We are working with universities on green research and development. And we also need specialized knowledge on safety if you want to have certification. So how should we get certification accreditation from other markets? That should be another important aspect. So we must ensure that our green fuel is properly accredited in other markets. So Hong Kong wants to play a part in certification and testing as well for green fuel. Now, green shipping corridor, going by international experience, it means that 2 ports can form a shipping corridor. So vessels plying on this route can demonstrate that they are involved in green transformation. We should not necessarily give them incentives. Well, but there are a lot of other considerations, such as whether we should be allowing them to have cargoes and so on and so forth. So this would be something that we should be consider. I have 3 questions. You mentioned about the land to the south of Qingyu. You said that you have received 7 expressions of interest. When will construction works commence, and when can the facility be put to use? In the paper, you said that the green-powered vessels will increase by 35% in number every year. So what is the basis for that figure? So are you talking about new vessels getting registered in Hong Kong, or replacement of old vessels and so on? Third question. In internationalization of renminbi, will the government encourage the use of renminbi when you engage in bunkering activities?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your comment. Well, let me start with the land in Qingyi South. We have received some input from the public, and now we have started the planning process. This is only a logistic land to develop storage facilities. The government will be taking the lead in applying for a development plan. By the end of the year, it's ready, and we are preparing for its delivery in 2027 and 28. So we're also considering how the land right can be concessioned, so operators can start planning as early as possible. It doesn't take long to build the site, but to order the storage facilities will be time-consuming. On the one hand, we're planning. On the other hand, we're also working on the land sale terms, which take some time. Well, maybe we can proceed faster, so those operators that are capable can start early in ordering storage facilities and move them to Hong Kong, so the whole process can be shortened. Yes, we're looking into the possibility, and we are as concerned as you are. We hope that the process can be faster. Well, as the number of green fuel vessels, we can only refer to the new orders. Well, it seems that there is no figure available for retrofitting of vessels, so we will not slow down our process. Otherwise, well, on the contrary, if the decarbonization process doesn't stop, there will be ship owners wanting to convert their vessels to green fuel vessels. So we must step up. We cannot slow it down, so we can take a market share. Where 35% comes from replacement of old vessels. Yes, indeed.
係啦，呢一個都係我哋用一個
Yes, we're referring to the numbers of the IMO. We have 70 vessels in our own fleet, and LNG is widely used. So we are looking at 20% as the basis. But we are also considering the incentive scheme, so our average growth will be faster than international average. That's why we use 35% as an average rate. As for the use of RMB, well, this is only a question for shipping industry, but for all sectors in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, as an international financial center and international shipping center, should use RMB much more as the financial vehicle. This is the advantage of Hong Kong, and this is our willingness. Thank you, Undersecretary. There are no other questions. So the administration plans to seek funding approval from the LegCo through the established procedures, and will submit the relevant legislative proposal to the Council in July this year. I now seek members' views on whether they support this. Thank you. No objections. So I thank the officials and Undersecretary and her team for participating in the discussion. Thank you. The fourth item on the agenda is Hong Kong Tourism Board Work Plan for 2026 and 27. Now we will invite government officials and representatives of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, HKTB, to join the meeting. Members who wish to speak, please press the request to speak button at your seat.
好，我哋歡迎咧文體旅局。
I welcome Ms. Rosanna Law, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, and Mrs. Angelina Chow, Commissioner for Tourism, Mr. Anthony Law, Executive Director of HKTB, and other officials and representatives of the HKTB to the meeting. The paper provided by the administration and the PowerPoint presentation provided by the HKTB and the brief prepared by the Secretariat have been circulated to members before the meeting. Now I will invite Ms. Rosanna Law to brief members on the paper, to be followed by Executive Director of HKTB, Mr. Anthony Lau. 10 minutes, please. Thank you, Chair. I will be as brief as possible. As you know, HKTB has been promoting Hong Kong as a world-class tourism spot over the world. And through hosting and supporting mega events, we enriched the experience of visitors in Hong Kong so that they can experience the unique culture of Hong Kong. This year marks the beginning of the 15th five-year plan. HKTB will work with the industry to seize the opportunities brought by the 15th five-year plan. We will use leverage on the supporting policies from the central government and Hong Kong's role as a super connector. Well, Mr. Chair, Hong Kong's performance in tourism industry is very good. Visitors reached 49.5 million in 2027. The momentum for tourism industry is very good. In the first 3 months, we have recorded 14.3 million visitors a year-on-year increase of 17%. For high-quality development of the tourism industry, the government will allocate 1.767 billion to the HKTB, encouraging visitors to lengthen the stay in Hong Kong. In 2026-2027, we will use 3 strategies, including diversifying markets, exploring new visitor groups, and creating business opportunities so Hong Kong can be made more competitive. Now I will defer to Mr. Anthony Law, Commissioner, Executive Director of HKTB, to brief the panel. Mr. Chair, members, good morning. Given the uncertainties in the world, tourism markets is fierce competition. Consumers' preferences are fluid. Our changes include 3 aspects: diversification, uniqueness, and excellence. We will diversify our target groups of visitors, exploring new visitor groups, focusing on the value-added overnight visitors. To enhance Hong Kong's competitiveness, we will, over the world, launch a new TV commercial, which I will brief on the members about later. And we will also enhance mega events in Hong Kong to strengthen our position as a mega event city. We will continue to enhance our neighborhood tourism with different projects for people to experience Hong Kong. Thirdly, as Asia's world city, Hong Kong's tourism must be innovative. We will be very flexible, and we will make sure that every project is international class, world-class level. And we will take different measures to support the industry so we can work together to create business opportunities. Hong Kong is unique because we can attract different visitors, including those who have not been to Hong Kong, to visit Hong Kong next time. And we can also attract those visitors who have visited Hong Kong to come back to Hong Kong to visit here. For over the years, we've been thinking about this. How do we leverage on our uniqueness in Hong Kong? And the answer is before our eyes. We are an Asia's world city. Hong Kong is on the par with world-class metropolis like New York and London. Hong Kong is a vibrant city, is an international city. It's a city that we feel proud for. We have numerous stories in Hong Kong to attract visitors, so they can come to Hong Kong for the different mega events like Wine and Dine Festival. They can visit Kai Tai Sports Stadium, and they can visit Old Town of Central. We have the world-class hotels and bars. And recently, among best 50 restaurants in Asia, Hong Kong has the best and the second best restaurant in that list. So in Hong Kong, you can find everything that you are interested in. This is why we can attract visitors, both first-time visitors and regular visitors. Hong Kong is unique, and we have a unique DNA. We have our unique taste. First of all, variety. We are a diverse city, and we have vibrancy. Third, we have a contrast of different cultures, and we have world-class stuff. We're not promoting Hong Kong as a mere tourist spot. We hope that people can have a taste of Hong Kong in every moment, so Hong Kong can be their first choice in future trips. We hope that visitors can know Hong Kong inside out, feeling every inch of Hong Kong, and every moment in Hong Kong can be an opportunity for us to tell Hong Kong stories from a new perspective, so that the experience they obtained from Hong Kong can be highlighted in our promotion. This is our new slogan, Owning in Hong Kong, featuring Asia's world city, focusing on experience, so we can depict the unique experience that people can only find in the city. The logo design comes from traditional seal, and the neon lights in Hong Kong. We use Hong Kong's diverse culture and the vibrant city feature, and with different colors, different images, and hues, so our promotional features can be more attractive. Hong Kong is a city of colors. This is why we use the existing colors in Hong Kong to highlight the genuine moments in Hong Kong. For example, duckling red represents the traditional side of Hong Kong. Kai Tak lavender represents our world-class mega events. And Ding Ding Green not only represents the 120 years of history of tram in Hong Kong, it also represents resilience of Hong Kong people. Bohemia Pink represents the natural power of Hong Kong. Panda White and Panda Black, well, the names in themselves sound cute, and people will rejoice at looking at them. So every color represents the unique moments of Hong Kong. In images, we're looking at authentic images, moving, touching moments, so people will experience the unique stuff in Hong Kong. At the same time, in a unique tone, we are confident and we are curious, and you can let people read from the lines from this sentence here. Every day is an event. It's in a tongue-in-cheek tone, and it tells that even in the ordinary moments in life, people can find memorable moments, and we use Chinese mahjong to represent the spirit, and this can be coupled with some images. For example, this panda lying there lazy represents the laid-back life moment, and another slogan is where East meets West. It's to render our future. Hong Kong is a city where East meets West, where everything merged, and this image brings out another kind of experience of marrying West and East. And catch you next time is another slogan. This will be placed in the departure area in Hong Kong International Airport. So we're looking for repeated visits by people. They're leaving Hong Kong, but Hong Kong will never leave them. Our new promotional campaign is very flexible. We have diverse lines. They can be extended and further interpreted so people can feel the unique experience in Hong Kong. We're working on the visual design of the slogans and other visual materials, but we can give you a taste today so you can get a taste of what it looks like when everything is merged together.
Last, I'd like to thank the government for allocating resources to support the tourism development and TB's work. Like in the past, Hong Kong, the TB will make prudent use of the government's funding and deploy resources flexibly to expand our market segment and strive for more high-value visitors to come to Hong Kong to maximize the use of the resources. I look forward to the legislative support of our work plan. Well, your PPT is most impressive. It's now question time by members. The session will last till 10:15, and after the first member has spoken, I will draw the line. Let me read out the order of the members. A total of 30 members would like to speak. Mr. Chen Xiu-hong, Mr. Peter Shi, Mr. Stephen Ho, Mr. Lau Ka-kang, Mr. Jonathan Stewart Lamport, Mr. Vincent Chang, Mr. Perry Yu, Ms. Nixie Lam, Ms. Vivian Kong, Mr. Alan Chan, Mr. Andrew Lam, Mr. Dennis Leung, and myself. First, Mr. Chen Xiu-hong. Thank you, Chair. I agree with what you said. The TB's short video and the PPT are very impressive and very memorable. We should take the perspective of the ordinary citizen of Hong Kong. It's quite innovative. But for overseas visitors, I'm not sure how it will fare. But anyway, this kind of new presentation is good. It showcases the uniqueness of different areas in Hong Kong, and that will help. In 2026, the The government's target is to attract 53 million visitors to come to Hong Kong in 2026. The government will allocate 30% more in funding to the TB to attract more high-value visitors to Hong Kong. I hope that the TB will work even harder to enhance the appeal of Hong Kong to visitors. I have several questions. First, the overnight per capita spending of overnight visitors is $5,000, staying for 3.1 nights on average. These are average figures. We hope that they can spend a longer period in Hong Kong, and they can also spend more when they are here. And 2026-27, the key focus is to develop new segments to attract high-value overnight visitors. But in the projected figures, you expect the average length of stay is just 3.1 nights, no increase. So how would you encourage them to extend their length of stay in Hong Kong? In paragraph 50, it is also mentioned that the government will develop more multi-destination tourism products, and in 2024-25, around 20% of the visitors will go to the mainland via Hong Kong. So, how would you calculate the benefits to Hong Kong in multi-destination products? And how would you further collaborate with the GBA to attract more multi-destination tourists to Hong Kong? And also the International CNY Night Parade and also the Symphony of Lights event. But I believe that the Symphony of Lights should be updated. But you said that the new event will be held at different locations and at different times. I mean, the brand new show with the theme of light festivals. So how would the people of Hong Kong know when and where these light festivals to be held? 3 questions. Chair, I assume that we have 4 minutes. I just have 20 seconds left. I believe members will ask similar questions. Maybe I'll give you the details later on. We will strive for visitors to stay longer and to spend more. But then we see that there are uncertainties in the global economy. While I am a more positive person, and our target this year is that the average length of stay and the per capita spending will remain the same. Well, at least we can maintain the status quo. And if the global economy and also long-haul air flights can increase, we hope to do more. And that also includes the multi-destination products. The member asked the economic benefits of multi-destination tourism. I think we should take a more comprehensive look. I know that members are very concerned. Maybe the TB can elaborate later on. And about the brand new show with the theme of light festivals, maybe the TB can further elaborate. And Mr. Chen is right in pointing out that we should let visitors know what is up in Hong Kong. The beauty of our upcoming publicity campaign is that we are not highlighting specific attractions. We just want them to highlight the feel they will get in visiting Hong Kong. And every month we will have different mega events, and this will allow us more flexibility in doing things. Maybe in answering questions further, we can give you more information. In the interest of time, Each member will be given 3 minutes, including questions and answers. Please try to limit yourself to no more than 2 questions. Mr. Peter Schill. Thank you, Chair. I would like to commend the TB for doing very good work. The presentation is extremely remarkable. And in the past year, we see many visitors coming to Hong Kong, whether they're from the mainland and overseas. I hope that you can keep up your good work. The Secretary said that this is the beginning of the 15th five-year plan, and going forward, the government will also map out its 5-year plan. So what will be the tourism plan within these 5 years? Can you share with us? And in paragraph 17, it talks about the challenges. Challenge 3 is intense competition for visitor source markets, say from Japan, South Korea, and so on. And the Prime Minister of Japan said something in the past half year which infuriates Hong Kong people. So does it mean that Hong Kong's tourism will get better on the reverse, and then $1.66 billion to be allocated to TB, 1/3 more from the past year. Will you also be allocating more to the QTSA scheme so that we can also do more? I'm a member of the QTSA scheme. Well, for the 15th five-year plan, the government is proceeding full steam with devising our own 15th five-year plan. And that will definitely include tourism and the portfolio underneath. So we will be hearing further from members in mapping out this plan. Thank you, member, for your question. For the several markets in, say, in Japan and South Korea, we are competing for visitors with them. In the past couple of years, because of the exchange rates, the appeal of Japan and South Korea has been stronger. For many visitors from Southeast Asia and long-haul markets visited Japan because of the exchange rate. Now, if the exchange rate adjusts, then visitors may be visiting other places. Well, there are a lot less visitors from Hong Kong and mainland going to Japan these days, and they are seeking out other tourist destinations. Hong Kong would benefit, and also Southeast Asian countries will also benefit. So that's why we have to do more promotion, stage more events to attract them to Hong Kong. QTSA. We have supported the QTSA for a number of years. So if there are new projects coming from QTSA, we would definitely consider partnering with them and provide more support. Mr. Stephen Hay, Vice Chairman. Thank you, Chair. Well, we must recognize the work of the CSTD and the TB. You have presented this BBT and a short video to us, and the paper you mentioned about study tourism, medical tourism, and cruise tourism. And you mentioned little about ecotourism. Maybe this is the direction that we will be heading towards, but no details are given in the paper. And how can the legislators and also the public know what you are planning to do? Can you provide the paper later? And how can you also enhance the experience of visitors in Hong Kong? How can you leverage technology? Now, visitors are seeking information on how to take public transport when they visit a place, and information which is not available on overseas websites. So maybe you can come up with a one-stop app to help visitors plan their trips in Hong Kong and address their problems in visiting Hong Kong. So how can would you be putting in more resources on local attractions and so on? Well, you have done a lot of work on reinvigorating the Temple Street and so on. So can you allocate more resources in revitalizing the old attractions? Executive Director of TB, please. In attracting overnight visitors, we can develop more segments. Cruise tourism, medical tourism, these are mentioned in the paper. And we are studying the matter, and we are talking to the trade to see how these areas can be further developed. As for making available other tourism resources, well, a number of themes have been featured in the video, highlighting Hong Kong's uniqueness. Apart from our conventional tourism products, our green tourism, mega events, and unique culture in the different districts are also highlighted in the video. So what you have seen is just but an abstract of what we're doing, and we are continuously producing different promotional materials highlighting the different tourism areas. What matters most is to entice them to visit our website and look at the relevant information. As for the use of technology, we are developing some platforms for visitors to go online to plan their itinerary. So this is something that we are working on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Lau Kakao. Thank you, Chair. Hong Kong's tourism industry did very well in 2025. Total visitors reached 50 million, a year increase of more than 10%. In the work plan for 2026, there were 3 strategies which I support, but I have some questions on the details. In paragraph 35, the paper states that TB will allocate 75% of its market promotion budget to international markets, 25% to Chinese mainland markets. Well, what's the rationale behind these percentages? And meanwhile, will the administration set up platforms for visitors so they can enjoy connectivity services, for example, concessionary tickets to tourism spots, and policies to extend their stay in Hong Kong. For example, we can look into the consumption behaviors of high-end visitors. For example, if visitors spend an X amount of money in Hong Kong, and we can give them more concessionary tickets to concerts or other events. And in paragraph 41, it says that we will be working with some Asian markets in promoting travel experiences like medical tourism featuring traditional Chinese medicine. So are we targeting some markets where the acceptance for traditional Chinese medicine is high, and do we offer incentives, for example, land users or concessionary tax reductions, especially to the medical institutions that can provide more services to visitors? Thank you. 2 questions on allocation of resources. And Mr. Lau will answer the question. On the percentages, 75% and 25%, the rationale behind is that we hope that in the future, in the long run, we hope that we can attract more overseas visitors. Of course, visitors from the mainland will be well received in Hong Kong, but we believe we can allocate more resources in the visitors coming from non-Guangdong provinces, because there is a higher chance that these visitors will stay in Hong Kong, spend a night in Hong Kong. Of course, overseas visitors will fly to Hong Kong and will spend a few more days in Hong Kong. This is the rationale behind the percentage, whether it's 25 or 30%, as we're talking about a huge market. People will tend to spend more if they come from overseas. So this is why we come up with these numbers after some calculation. Well, as we hope that visitors can spend more nights in Hong Kong, as the paper states, a large part of visitors as we are promoting the campaign called the neighborhoods to allow visitors to enjoy experiences in different districts in Hong Kong. So they know that there are more things to enjoy in Hong Kong, therefore spending more nights here. As for other Asian markets and medical tourism, as I said, we have been in consultation with the industry. I believe this is a long-term project. Today, we're just talking about a beginning. We need to think about how to develop this market of medical tourism and cruise tourism. Thank you. Next, Mr. Jonathan Stewart, Lamport. Thank you, Chair. As the business community friends, I'm very satisfied with the development. We have traffic jams. We have a lot of visitors visiting Hong Kong. This is something that we rejoice at, but I, as my friends in the business community, have the following concerns. I have received some comments from my colleagues that the government can do some things to attract more high-value customers. Of course, food and catering industries are essential. So perhaps we can use Hong Kong's five-star hotel and Michelin restaurants. You know, it's extremely hard to book a Michelin restaurant overseas, but it's relatively easier in Hong Kong. So can we probably step up to attract more visitors with the Michelin restaurants in Hong Kong? Well, some friends from the business community, they are expatriates, but their offspring were born in Hong Kong, and they said that maybe we can promote Hong Kong more overseas as a super connector. Well, in the end, the paper also states that we need to make an effort to develop Muslim markets. Last year, there was a forum on this topic. We received some inputs. Last year, Hong Kong ranked number 3 among all the Muslim-friendly tourism spots. Well, the government has done a lot, and given the momentum, will the government step up to enhance the development of Hong Kong as a Muslim-friendly tourism spot? Well, let me start with the high-end customers. As the executive director said, high-end visitors are not only coming to Hong Kong because of a promotional campaign. We must offer something that make them think that they must come to Hong Kong. Recently, we worked with Art Basel in signing a 5-year term agreement. That means in March every year, there will be a group of high-end visitors to Hong Kong for that specific purpose, not only for a transaction of artworks, but also participating in the art events. I said this on other occasions. The agreement with Art Basel doesn't only mean that every 5 years we will have this event every year in the next 5 years. as Mr. Lamport said, other events in Hong Kong, other features in Hong Kong, for example, our world-class restaurants, hotels, and airports, and our world-class horse racing facilities, and we have the best horses in the world. These features can all be packed into something that can be promoted as the unique experience only available in Hong Kong. We need to seize these opportunities. We're working on some long-term projects, for example, Leaf Golf, Art Basel, and other events. We hope for all these events, we can set up long-term collaboration programs. I agree that high-end customers are essential in tourism. I know that you have different topics to cover. Well, we support this discussion items. As for the expatriates in Hong Kong, I talked with people from the General Chamber of Commerce, and I encouraged them to promote Hong Kong as well. I talked with different chambers of commerce, the US, the UK, and Australia. I encouraged them to do business in Hong Kong, but not only that, if they're doing good business in Hong Kong, maybe they can go back to their home country to promote Hong Kong and tell good stories of Hong Kong as well. Thank you, Secretary. Well, speaking of Art Basel, I commend the Secretary and your team. That event attracted many visitors from other countries, leading to traffic congestions around the electrical building. Thank you. Well, on the Muslim tourism question, yes, the paper states that over the past 2 years, the administration attaches great importance to Muslim tourism. Of course, we need to be very careful given the status quo in the Middle East. Yes, we will allocate resources, but it's a matter of timing. We will also lead. We will not lead delegations to visit Middle East countries at this moment. We need to be very prudent. Next, Mr. Vincent Chen. Thank you. I commend the Secretary and her team for the past year. I come from my constituency, Kowloon West, and I rejoice at seeing a lot of visitors visiting my district, enjoying their experience in Hong Kong. So it's not only about tourism. We hope that we can work together to do it better in the future. In March, mega events were indeed a highlight. We believe it works perfectly to highlight these events in our promotional campaigns. I'm going to focus on Tourism Plus City campaign. We are indeed the #1 market in Hong Kong in mega events in terms of the numbers of tickets sold. I am the vice chairman of MR, and we have seen over 20 mega events, and they are becoming better and better. So over the past year, with some experience, when it comes to the campaign about Tourism Plus City, what are other steps that you're gonna take? We know Leaf Golf is very successful, and next week we'll see Rugby 7, another mega event. I know some smaller scale events have the potential. For example, the fencing event in Hong Kong, which takes place next month, we'll also see thousands of athletes in Hong Kong. There are some sports facilities, sports events taking place in Hong Kong. They're not at a very high scale, but can you please also help them promote themselves? And Secretary, please. Well, maybe I can start, and the Executive Director can supplement. Thank you, Mr. Chen, for your interest in our work, and thank you for your support. Indeed, Tourism Plus City is indeed an important direction in our work. Tourism plus mega events is indeed our focus. On top of MR, TB is working with different events, well, specifically beyond bringing people to Hong Kong. If we have celebrities in Hong Kong, TB will work with them, inviting them to help us promote Hong Kong, our tourist spots experience in Hong Kong. You know, sometimes TB will pay for this promotional campaign, and sometimes we'll use a soft approaches, if you will, to tell good stories of Hong Kong. The upcoming Rugby 7 event, well, traditionally, TB will be working with the Rugby Association in promoting this event. But I just wanted to say that we need to build up experience for this new mega event. Last year and this year, we hosted billiard events in Kai Tak Sports Park. Yes, there were some flaws in the first year, but we improved on this point, and the second year was much better. In the future, I believe the sports federations will need to work with the organizers, providing necessary support. Many of the sports facilities were under the management of the government. For example, Hong Kong Coliseum and Elizabeth Stadium and Kai Tak Sports Park. We can share experiences. Well, sometimes international organizers are not comfortable with the environment in Hong Kong, but we need to work with them to make it better. Executive Director, please.
Thank you, member, for your question, and thank you, Mr. Zhang, for your support. At the TB, we are working with different sports associations on organizing sports events, but it is difficult for us to put resources into each and every event and to promotion for them. We can leverage on our website to help them publicize. Every major event should come with its own resources for promotion, and there are different funding schemes open for their application. So all of us want to do the best job. For example, this major fencing competition, we definitely work together with the organizer to do our very best. Mr. Parry, the results of the tourism industry in the past year have been very brilliant. That's plain for all to see. In paragraphs 51, 52, and 53, it is mentioned that multi-destination products will be developed, and I am all in for this. On the 16th of March, the Ministry of Commerce of the and 9 other ministries have issued a circular on expanding trade in services and development of tourism to create a more attractive environment for spending. The country is clear in its goals to attract overseas visitors to visit the country. We should ride on this mega trend. Hong Kong is a demonstration zone for multi-destination tourism. We can benefit if we can serve as a bridge between overseas and the country. How can we leverage on this trend? The government, the country has devised many facilitating measures to attract overseas tourists to China, and Hong Kong is well positioned to act as a transit point. Do you have any specific plans to design tourism products in connection with the GBA cities? So that's the first question. The Secretary, you know that I've been all along about the mega events, especially on the ticketing side. How can you forge better collaboration among the different sectors? I know that the organizing, well, it's difficult for the organizer to hand over tickets for us to promote tourism. But can the tickets be used by the tourism industry so that discounts can be given to the tourists? As for ticket stubs, I welcome the suggestion. Mr. Peter Shill has just stepped out. I think our shops can be more proactive in coming up with certain proposals. For example, in Kai Tak Sports Stadium, we're talking about some 40,000 ticket stubs in one concert. How can we make use of the ticket stubs to benefit shops in the vicinity or even shops further away? I remember that at this council, maybe I have said the same on TV and radio. And for one concert, we can help bring benefits to other shops like beauty salons and so on. Some shops can benefit, but others not so. We can do more work with the chambers of commerce and with the tourism and retail trade. I think we can make better use of ticket stubs. Maybe we should, it might not be necessary for us to give subsidy. And then multi-destination tourism, maybe I defer to the executive director to say something more. Our emphasis now is that we will do several things in parallel. We want to attract more overseas visitors, and so we are following the policy of the nation. And we are happy to see that in March, we have Live Golf and Art Basel. These are international mega events. Overseas visitors took up 27% of our overall visitors, much higher than the usual 23 to 24%. In the past, it used to be 20% only, so it has been surging gradually. So that would be a focus of attracting more overseas visitors. And then the second emphasis in extending their length of stay in Hong Kong. The third thing is multi-destination tourism. So we have to strike a balance among these 3 points. If we're talking about multi-destination tourism, does it mean that they will stay a shorter period of time in Hong Kong? So how should we come up with a target for the length of stay? Now, if they see the beauty of multi-destination, maybe they would think more about visiting the Far East. So we can also benefit from that. So these are the 3 points. Attracting more overseas visitors, length of stay, extending length of stay, multi-destination tourism. These are the 3 focuses of our future direction. So can I defer to the Executive Director to say something more? Please be brief, Executive Director. On ticket stubs, well, we'll be happy to see what you suggested happen. But what matters most is that the trade will offer certain offerings so that this can be achieved. Say, for example, in summer and in winter, we're working with the retail and the catering sectors closely. They will present certain offerings which will be promoted overseas so that they will spend more in Hong Kong. Now, say if after a mega event, ticket stubs can be used for discount at shops. So I think that necessity entails the trade coming together to come up with certain offerings for them. Now, as for multi-destination products, last week we just had a meeting with the working group at the GBA and Macau. This is the 86th meeting. Well, we hold meetings twice every year. So we've been cooperating with them for 40-something years. Looking at the figures, well, long-haul visitors coming from and involved in multi-destination products, 80% of them visitors are involved in that kind of itinerary. And for short-haul visitors, the figure is 60%. So these are the results of our collaboration within the region. And this year, after the meeting, we said we planned to go overseas together again, to go to Southeast Asia, the definite country to be determined later. That will be done in August and September. We will promote the GBA again. Executive Director, please be brief. Some visitors will go through Hong Kong to the mainland, or to Macau. Well, because a lot more visa-free policies have been rolled out by the country, we are now cooperating with the airlines to make use of the 240-hour visa-free transit policy to come to Hong Kong and then into China. This is a new approach that we will be adopting, and we hope that to come up with a good plans after discussing with overseas airlines. Next one, Ms. Nixie Lam. Well, I feel very excited about this PowerPoint. I think the logo can be used in our pins and scarves, and I believe that visitors would like to shop for such souvenirs. Now, there are 2 points I would like to make in the interest of time. First, about the halal support. In the last term of the LegCo, I suggested I made certain proposals, and the government has done a lot. There are some 70 halal restaurants now in Hong Kong. And some restaurants may not be aware that they are in position to get halal accreditation. We do more promotion on this, and then high value visitors. Well, we talked about this. We talked about yacht tourism in the last term of government, and in the coming 2 years, there will be major yacht competitions to be held in Hong Kong. I think we can model after the golf model. A decade ago, I took part in some golf competitions and tournaments. So we try to popularize yacht tourism, which can be enjoyed not only by local residents but also overseas visitors. I have discussed with the yacht-related sectors, and they think it's quite troublesome to travel to Hong Kong because there are complicated rules and regulations. I believe that if I have to remove barriers, that will not be just falling under the ambit of your bureau, but I think you can work across different bureaus so that we can tap into the potential of this sector. In the Middle East, we launched a halal accreditation, and a subsidy of up to $5,000 will be given. Now we have some 200 accredited restaurants. The TB has not been slackening its efforts in promotion. I myself visited the Middle East countries last year. We visited a major show, and we had a lot of discussion in Dubai. And as to when our plan can be really implemented, well, it depends on the circumstances. In the past couple of years, when we developed shopping malls and grant land leases, we have added in clauses about making available prayer rooms and also toilets and so on. We also encourage existing shopping malls, the landowners and the more operators to consider adding in new such facilities as these. Second point about yacht tourism. Ms. Lam also rightly point out that this is a potential area. We support the development of that, but we have to remove barriers. Outside the ocean park at Deep Bay, there are some yacht mooring berths. We welcome those facilities to be provided. You talk about yacht competitions or tournaments. I think you are talking about powerboats competitions. You also mentioned about live golf model. Well, live golf is held in a designated venue with participation of some tens of thousands of spectators. Now, whether the organizers of yacht tournaments have certain venues to accommodate the spectators, that is a question. Well, such tournaments are like car racing events. So how can the organizer make arrangement for a large number of visitors and spectators to come to Hong Kong and watch the tournaments in a certain area? This has to be further negotiated or discussed with the administration. At the TB and the MMARC scheme, well, various assistance will be provided to these event organizers.
Next, Ms. Vivian Kwan. We can see that the TB's strategies are focusing on three aspects. 800 million was spent to highlight Hong Kong's advantage, and 26% will be for diversification of tourist groups, and 13% will be used for support for the industry. So what's the rationale behind these numbers? So how can you make sure that the allocation of resources is aligned with our target, attracting high value customers, and 75% of the resources will be allocated for international markets? So my question, beyond major markets, you will also develop newer markets with great potential. So what are the specific measures? And Hong Kong is now facing the shortage of tour guides speaking minor languages like Vietnamese and the Middle East countries' languages. Given the uncertainties in the world, how do you make sure that we can tell good stories of Hong Kong through these tour guides? The paper also states that more customers are looking for better experience. We have mega events, we have local unique experience. Given these factors, will you develop some regular events that can represent Hong Kong's future, for example, musical drama and stage theaters, so these regular events can attract visitors to Hong Kong on top of the light festivals? Well, I can start with the last two questions. As for tour guides speaking minor languages, yes, the TB and the Tourism Council have prepared training programs. Of course, it's extremely hard to find some minor languages. If there are people who have just settled down in Hong Kong, if they can speak certain languages like Russian, we have more people fluent in Russian in the mainland than in Hong Kong. So perhaps we can move these people to Hong Kong. And of course, some language majors students, they can take up tour guide work as an internship. And thank you for your suggestion on regular art performances. We are indeed doing something like that. We have two performances that can be staged at our facilities. For example, in East Kowloon Center, we have this Mat Dao performance and another theater stage performance. Of course, we need some innovative features, and these are the two events which will receive government subsidies. Of course, we will encourage more events. For example, the performance in West Kowloon district will be staged repeatedly, and our performance at the Kowloon East Cultural Center has been adapted. Well, this is the case for musical drama. After the first debut, there would be often some adaptation to make it better. Yes, we have a few performances in the pipeline, and we will also invite overseas performance artists to Hong Kong. On top of Kowloon East, we will have a new cultural center in New Territories East. When we have more facilities, we can allow room for more performances. Well, maybe the executive director can talk about the rationale behind the allocation of resources. Well, maybe I can start with the question related to resources. Our work consists of three components. Number one, creating Hong Kong as a world-class tourism spot. Secondly, collecting data and coordinating different tourism spots and experience trips, promoting them among customers and inviting them to spend a few nights in Hong Kong. And thirdly, promoting Hong Kong with the tourism sector. These three duties are behind our consideration when we design investment strategies. I think most importantly, we need to allocate Hong Kong's resources properly and promote Hong Kong overseas. This is our first duty. Secondly, we need to work with the tourism sector. TB was established in 2000, and over 20 years we've been supportive of the sector. We know what can be spent and what cannot. So we will learn from past history and allocate resources properly. We will always give priority to support to tourism sector, local tourism sector, and after that we can allocate resources on different markets, on different projects. Well, if my memory serves correct, this year our resources allocated to local tourism sector is unprecedentedly high. So I'd like to take this opportunity to send this message to our tourism sector that they can use our resources properly. In the past, there were some projects that were launched, but as Mr. Yu know, sometimes these resources were not really provided to the practitioners. So this year, we hope that on top of increased support to the practitioners, we can make sure to align them with market needs, and we will also invite Mr. Yu and Ms. Kong to give more input. Yes, it's a pleasure to see that the resources are at a record high this year. And next, Mr. Alan Chen. Well, I commend the government for what has been done. I commend the Secretary and the TB for achieving two-digit growth over the past year, 12%, which is really appreciated. I support the subsidy allocation of 1.6 billion, a year-on-year increase of 35.5%. So I commend the Secretary on that. Well, secondly, I have a question regarding on the Guangdong vehicles traveling southbound. Well, it's good that people can come to Hong Kong in a car if they have a big family coming here, and this will encourage family visitors to come to Hong Kong. But now the quota is still very low. We hope that the quota can be increased, because if we are talking about 8,600 vehicles per day when it comes to Hong Kong vehicles moving northwards, but Guangdong vehicles are only 1% of that. This is not balanced. Yes, we have over 8,000 vehicles moving northwards and there are only 100 vehicles moving southward, we hope that there will be some corresponding arrangement from Hong Kong side. Second question on the individual visitor scheme. We appreciate that the TB will allocate 75% of resources in overseas visitors and 25% for mainland visitors. And Hong Kong Airport has flights to some mainland cities, but these cities don't offer individual visits. And for high-speed rail, 28 cities are included, but they have not been included in the individual visitor scheme. Now we have the travel, we have the transportation capacity. We need to gradually open the individual visitor scheme to more mainland cities. In the past years, more cities have been allowed in the scheme, but now the steps have been slowed down. Well, my last question is, I have a question to the Executive Director on the benefits of mega events. Well, I am the convener of TST East Tourism Development Board. Just to disclosure my interest, this council has 100 restaurant members. We hope that you can strengthen collaboration with our merchants in the community. Well, Mr. Chair, let me start with my responsibilities. Number one, we will use the preferential policies from the central government. Secondly, we will invite Hong Kong's practitioners to think about better solutions to promote Hong Kong. Thirdly, everyone is a tourism ambassador. I have not changed in terms of these responsibilities. As you said, how can we increase the number of individual visitor scheme cities? Of course, the more the merrier, but given the number of visitors to Hong Kong, we need to leverage on the resources of the TB, and we need to host more mega events. And more importantly, the business community will need to seize opportunities to achieve that target. As for Hong Kong, as for Guangdong vehicles traveling southbound, yes, your input is taken on board, and I will also talk with the Transport Department. When Guangdong vehicles come to Hong Kong, hotels and restaurants shall provide some convenience, for example, parking facilities, charging facilities. I think the practitioners can also give more thought to this problems. On other topics, some regional events, some regional associations have voiced their concerns. I believe the TB would be glad to talk with them. Well, these are our unique tourist spots. If we can come up with some preferential travel incentives, we are willing to discuss further. The Executive Director, yes, we're willing to work with the practitioners to support the tourism practitioners is our responsibility. We hope that we can be united and think of more plans so we can do a better job in promoting Hong Kong. Every year, we are working with RMA and QTS every summer. And also in winter, we closely collaborate to launch some consumption vouchers that visitors can use in summer and winter. these are available to people coming from the world. Of course, if merchants coming from TST East are interested, they're welcome. Next, Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, Chair. I can see that the numbers in the report and the projects in the report did reflect the good progress of the work of the TB, which is encouraging. I have a few specific questions. In the paper, I can see that telling good stories of Hong Kong is highlighted. Yes, this is a must. You know, Hong Kong is a center for international art, communication, and exchange. So we need to use our context to tell good stories of China, but this is silent on the paper. So my question, do you have any plans to do that? Yes, we can tell good stories of Hong Kong, and we can tell good stories of China, but the most important feature is hospitality. But to do that, we need to have good products and high quality services. In your past work, was there any progress that you can be proud about? So visitors coming to Hong Kong can feel quality services, but also tell that Hong Kong is a great brand. This brand is not only a tourist brand, but also on other aspects, like a credible and hospital city. And third question, I agree with the plan to develop traveling in neighborhoods. Over the past years, in both downtown and in rural areas, we noticed some restrictions. On top of that, the administration is doing a good job in management. But how shall we give local merchants, especially those SMEs, a better business environment? This is my question. The paper states that when it comes to subsidies, there are some subsidies and incentives available. So my question, are there any specific numbers for the subsidy programs? If not, can we have some evaluation? Thank you, Chair.
I'm just left with 40 seconds to answer 3 questions. Telling good stories about China and being a hospitable city. We can tell good stories about Hong Kong. We can definitely tell good stories about China because Hong Kong is part of China. In terms of publicizing the Chinese traditional culture and highlighting Hong Kong as a center with a blend of Chinese and Western culture, we are launching a number of subsidy schemes, and we have also policies to support the relevant development. Soon after the Hong Kong Arts Festival, we will be launching the Chinese Cultural Festival in May, and we would tie that together with the Intangible Heritage Festival, and we will stage a number of Chinese cultural programs. These will be the highlights in the summer vacation in Hong Kong, and those will be promoted among the visitors. Second, about service. The TB has partnered with 2 media organizations in Hong Kong to recognize or to give recognition to industry players in the field, including salespeople of bakery, taxi drivers, sales assistants in food shops and so on. This will go on. Like I said, I wish everyone to be a tourist ambassador. Tourism is not just about TB and the tourism sector. Catering, transport, logistics sectors are all involved, and everyone on the streets can be considered a tourist ambassador. I agree with what Mr. Lam said about reception capacity. Say for some ecotourism destination, we have to tread carefully. At the AFCD, Mr. Chair, Director said that the department is considering launching new measures to strengthen our management and make the visitors' experience better. So we will work together with them at full steam. Maybe the executive director can elaborate on the Hong Kong Neighborhoods Program. The Hong Kong Neighborhoods Program was launched several years back. We aim to bring visitors to different districts and feel the local culture there. And they can also be brought to spend in the local districts. We have 3 programs, and this year we will allocate more resources to improve the environment of the 3 districts. We would also be adding in 1 to 2 new districts to the program. So hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years, 6 to 7 districts will be covered under the Hong Kong neighborhoods. The most famous one is Old Town Central, and we are pressing ahead with repackaging the program, and then followed by West Kowloon and Sham Shui Po, and 2 new districts will be added to the program. And like I said, we would be highlighting different experiences. Lately, we published a small booklet which feature 250 restaurants. And we also plan to highlight attractions which are based on films and later also based on Chinese traditions and cultures and cultural festivals. So these will be new attractions to be enjoyed overseas visitors, hopefully that they can spend more time in Hong Kong. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Executive Director. Next one, Mr. Dennis Leung. Thank you, Chair. Tourism is a very an important economic activity, driving Hong Kong's overall economic development. And how can we trickle down the benefits to everyone in the street is important. I support the government allocating $1.6 billion to the TB for its future work. You will get more funding, and I hope that you can come up with more KPIs for your different tasks and come up with new directions to achieve the desired results. The TB is very much a sales or promotion body promoting tourism. And what matters more is what can be highlighted in Hong Kong for promotion by the TB. In the past year, well, we have seen many incidents happening. What happened in High Island Reservoir East Dam is noteworthy. And how can the government manage the venue better? And in the 15th five-year plan, we see that our World Heritage is being highlighted. So can we promote, do more promotion on that front to drive tourism development? Hong Kong is a diversified city. Even if the visitors come to stay for one day, we should still do more to cater to their needs. Hong Kong used to have a vibrant nightlife, but we don't have that anymore today. So how can we do more in terms of making available souvenirs and so on? The TB said that it has allocated more resources to help the trade. So how can you encourage the trade to better use your resources? And also talent training also matters most. We should do more to train up tour guides, those in the service. We should upskill these personnel, and we should also launch incentives to draw new blood to the trade. And then we talk about tourist ambassadors. Visitors may visit Hong Kong. How can we make their stay more better? That's also important. And in shopping, there were rip-offs reported. I think our work should not be just confined to the CSTB. Everyone in the city should cooperate, should work together. And I think that is very important to the work of the TB. So I have only 2 seconds to respond. Your last point about being impolite to Hong Kong, or there might be breaches of laws. The TB will be very strict in enforcing the law. There have been recent cases. My advice to the TB is that they should be very stringent. We should hold those breaching the law accountable, whether they be the travel agents or the travel guides. Now, we talk about night economy. This is an area that we also focus on. We now put a lot of efforts in staging mega events, say at the Hong Kong Stadium, Kai Tak Sports Park, and so on. These are events held in the evening. Can the restaurants be pulled to participate in all this? I have watched a soccer tournament in Kai Tak, and I wished to have a dinner afterwards in Kowloon City, but then I was told that the restaurant closed at 10 p.m., probably because they were running short of manpower. And the trade unions told us that we should do more to boost the nightlife of Hong Kong. And maybe we should work to get through the trade unions to encourage employers to stay open in the evening. Why some shops can remain open when these Kai Tak Sports Stadium was first opened, it was very hard for us to find a restaurant to have a meal afterwards. But now the things have improved, and the restaurants now have a schedule of the mega events being held at the Kai Tak Sports Stadium, and then they can make the relevant plans accordingly. So we want to help with all these. The executive director has talked about a new guide on restaurants, the Taste Hong Kong Gourmet Guide. So that's not just confined to major restaurants. It will cover restaurants in every district in Hong Kong to benefit Hong Kong people and more restaurants. On talent training, manpower training, we would strive very hard to attract new blood to the industry, whether we are talking about the ERB, Employees Retraining Board, universities, travel agents, the Travel Industry Council, and so on. They are all helping out, and we are more than happy to do more. Maybe we can further discuss with Mr. Leung as to what the trade unions' proposals are, what kind of training should be beefed up. Maybe the trade unions are working on something. Can we further partner with them? I think this is something that we should do more. Well, then, and Miss Christine Fong has just pressed button, so I would not ask the question. I will give my time over to Ms. Fong. The Secretary talked about high-value visitors. I think you've been doing a very good job in terms of mega events. You talked about attracting overseas visitors. I agree that we should tell good stories of Hong Kong. The member just talked about the East Dam in Sai Kung and also Ham Tien Bay. The Secretary had visited the sites herself. Well, the high-value visitors will also take part in in-depth tourism. And in Sai Kung, we have ecotourism products on offer. And we need strong support from the TB. You don't have to sell the place because the news about such sites is viral on Xiaohongshu. You are talking about funding of $1.6 billion to the TB. So what is the percentage allocated to ecotourism within that amount? How can we try to improve the behavior of the tourists? If visitors are seeing unruly behavior among the visitors, that will not do us any good. So please raise your question, Ms. Fong. How would you enhance the visitor experience and improve on the areas that I mentioned? Secretary, I think it's not a matter about the TEB doing work to prevent what happened, as mentioned by Ms. Fong. I think the relevant government departments should, say, through crowd control and advice and giving advice and law enforcement, manage the crowd properly. It's hard for me to ask the TB to advise visitors against engaging in unruly behavior. We welcome tourists of all kinds. A member has reminded me of this. We've been doing this all along. We welcome all types of tourists to Hong Kong, whether they are same-day visitors, they just take some photos and then return to their homeland on the same day, or they stay in Hong Kong for a longer time to shop and have meals and so on. We welcome those as well. We hope that they can come back to Hong Kong after visiting Hong Kong once. And when visitors get older and they are financially better off, they may come back to Hong Kong again. So we take a long-term view on things. At the LegCo, I also said that we should strike a balance when we plan for ecotourism. We should highlight the beauty of our natural sceneries, and we should not just focus on several natural sceneries. We have many, and every year during autumn time, we've been highlighting and promoting the countryside, and many tourists come Hong Kong just for hiking. And they hike not only on trails which are popular. Well, the very famous film last year on the hiking on the 4 famous trails in Hong Kong is very good, and we have put it on the list of attractions in Hong Kong. So visitors should not be just focusing on 1 or 2 popular hiking trails. I appreciate the members' concern. So all government departments are working together to ensure that visitors have good experience.
Thank you, Secretary. We have finished all the questions and we have exceeded the allotted time, but that represents interest in tourism affairs. Thank you to the officials for participating in the discussion. Now we will proceed to item 5 on the agenda, latest developments of Hong Kong International Airport. I will now invite government officials and representatives of the Airport Authority to join the meeting. Members who wish to speak, please press the request to speak button at your seat. This agenda relates to a legislative proposal. All other members of the LegCo have been invited to join the discussion on this item. I welcome Ms. John Hong, Deputy Secretary for Transport and Logistics, other officials and representatives of the Airport Authority to the meeting. We have exceeded our allotted time in the previous item, so thank you for your patience. Thank you for waiting. The paper provided by the administration, the PowerPoint presentation provided by the Airport Authority, and the background brief prepared by the Secretariat have been circulated to members before the meeting. Now I invite Deputy Secretary for Transport and Logistics, Ms. John Hong, to deliver the opening remarks. followed by representatives of the airport authority. We hope that the time can be limited to 10 minutes. This meeting was scheduled to finish at 11 a.m. and now declared to extend the meeting for 15 minutes. Thank you. To align with the 15th five-year plan to better integrate Hong Kong into the national development landscape and consolidate Hong Kong's position as an international aviation center, the SAR government and the airport authority will leverage on unique advantage of Hong Kong to improve on the competitiveness of Hong Kong, so Hong Kong's aviation hub position will be world leading. This paper outlines different measures by the administration and the airport authority. Last year, the airport saw steady progress in throughput of passenger flows and cargo throughput. We have been extending our air network and we will attract more transit passengers. To divert the passengers in the airport, the departure facilities of Terminal 2 will be operated this year, and the government will support airport authority to build Skytopia, a landmark project. To align with the development of the third runway and Skytopia, the government will need to work on the access facilities and restricted areas around Hong Kong Macau-Zhuhai Bridge, and there will be legislative amendments proposals to develop Hong Kong into the world-class aircraft parts transaction center in Asia. The airport authority signed an agreement with a service provider discussing Hong Kong's potential in aircraft dismantling, parts recycling, and talent training program. Hong Kong Aviation Academy also signed an MOU establishing aviation training center with a series of courses. We will also make use of the aviation and shipping talent fund to provide training courses, and I will now defer to the representatives of the airport authority for more details. Thank you, members, for the opportunity. I will now present on the latest progress of the airport. The operation of the third runway started in end 2024. We have seen steady growth in passenger throughput. Well, speaking of passengers, last year we welcomed 61 million passengers, a year increase of 15% for 14 years. We have been the busiest airport for the last 14 years with a cargo volume of 5 million. And in the Easter break, every day we welcomed over 200,000 passengers, and for the Chinese New Year, every day we welcomed 210,000 passengers to the airport. We're also extending our aviation services. We are increasing the number of destinations. We're making the flights more frequent. Hopefully, local and non-local airlines can be increased. So if you look at this page now, we have 140 airlines operating in Hong Kong with 200 destinations. This is more than pre-COVID level. We're extending the network to cover more destinations. In 2025, we signed an agreement with 7 countries. I will not read them out due to the interest of time. This year, we hope that we can increase 10 destinations. This year, well, as we said, on 27th May this year, we will open the Terminal 2. Last September, Terminal 2 was open in phases, and in September, the coach hall was already opened for tourist groups and coaches, and this year we will open the depart facilities. On this page, as you can see, T2 is positioned opposite to T1. And in the middle, you have Airport Express. So Airport Express can serve passengers for T1 and T2. On the right side, it's for T2. On the left side, T1. We estimate that starting from 27th May, it would take 2 weeks for 15 airlines to move their facilities to the new terminal. And this way, we can divert 8 million passengers to that side. As you can see on the top, there is a passenger corridor, and this is for passengers to board the planes, and it will be starting operation in 2027. There are different transportation means. On the right side, you have Airport Express. You can get off from different doors, and you can drive to the airport. You can take a taxi. And our colleague will be talking about the design of the departure facilities. On the left side, it's for buses, and on the other side, it's for private cars and buses. And the lanes will be much wider. We will have 5 lanes, increased from 4 in the past. Passengers can come to the airport through different transportation means, buses, Airport Express, and they will reach a level 7 for the departure hall. Like T1, when they arrived at T2, they can go to the check-in counters, they can check in their baggage, and in the middle we have security checks, and they're different from T1. But in T2, people will go downstairs, people will take escalators or lifts to reach security checks. That's on the 3rd floor, and they can pass X-ray machines, and they can also pass the customs, and they can go further to level 1, and they will take the shuttle train to board the plane, like in T1. And we will start our preparational work. So in the next 3 months, we will inform the airlines, and they will inform the passengers. In February, we informed the airlines of the schedule, so the airlines could inform their passengers as well. Of course, we released information on different platforms on things to notice to the passengers. In March and April, we will start drills. We will have an all-process test. So people will pass the departure hall, they can check in their baggage, they can pass the security check, and after customs they can board the plane. We will have a drill which will see over 1,000 people, and personnel will come from airport, airlines and government institutions. After the all-process drills, we will see if there are things to improve on. So next I will defer to Tommy to talk about the design of the Terminal 2. Thank you. Thank you, members. T1 was opened in 1998. Today, it's still a world-class terminal. We hope that T2's design can be better. I'm talking about both indoor and facade, and the roads surround the building, and all these facilities will lead to a more efficient airport. If you have been to the airport, you can see there were traffic lanes and there were conversions. I can assure you that the lane conversion projects have been all completed. On 27th May, all the signages and all the roads will have been prepared. Everything will be set. So all passengers and Hong Kong citizens can go to T1 and T2 more conveniently. As Mr. Yu said, we will have a better departure hall, departure facilities, and this page shows that we have reached the Beam Plus. This is the highest score in Hong Kong's platinum level environment-friendly facilities. This will be a landmark in Hong Kong. So if you have a chance to visit the terminal, please give us more suggestions. We hope that inside the terminal, people can feel comfortable and enjoy highly efficient services. And now I will defer to my colleague to talk about the development of Skytopia, the timetable and other things. Please be brief. Thank you. Good morning, members. Now we are working in full speed to develop this landmark featuring high-end tourism, marine travel, and local culture. This will feature the largest cruise terminal, and it will feature some water activities. It will feature a promenade and a plaza. And there are art activities, art creation, art appreciation, and artwork storage. And we will allocate some land for 2 new hotels. Last year, we launched the development blueprint, and we received very good positive feedback. This year, we work with a company, Ethos, in developing a storage facility for artworks. This is an individual building, 13,000 square feet, and there will be individual rooms for art appreciation. It will start operation next year. Going forward, in the first half of this year, we will send invitations. We will send tender invitations to potential operators. We estimate that in 2028, this facility will be completed. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, you're done with your presentation? Yes. So it's time for questions by members. A total of 9 members have pressed the button. Let me read out the order. Mr. Andrew Lam, Mr. Andrew Fan, Mr. Perry Yeo, Mr. Lau Ka-Kang, Mr. Webster Ng, Mr. Chen Xiu-Hong, Mr. Alan Chan, Mr. Jonathan Lampert, and Ms. Vivian Kong. In the interest of time, well, each member will be given 3 minutes, including questions and answers. Members, do we agree that we extend the meeting to 11:45? After the first member has spoken, I will draw a line. The first one, Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, Chair. Hong Kong's International Airport comes up with a number of vision. Let's focus on the fact that HKIA should play an important function of logistics and transport. There are logistics-related facilities in the airport. The government will also build a logistics park in Hong Shui Kiu, serving cross-boundary cold chain products and also e-commerce. For the airport, it will also develop logistics functions. What will be the positioning of the airport vis-a-vis these new logistics park? Will you be adjusting the development direction for airport in terms of its logistics function in view of these new logistics facilities in other areas? We agree with what Mr. Lam said. Outside of the airport, there will be development of logistics facilities in Hong Shui Kiu. These facilities should complement the logistics facilities of the airport. There will be a logistics circle in Hong Shui Kiu. Is near the northwestern part of the New Territories and is near the BCP. It is suited for handling sea, air, and land cargoes. And for the airport, its logistics facilities an advantage in dealing with air cargoes. So the two logistics park can overall enhance the land, sea, and air intermodal transport in Hong Kong, and highlighting our unique advantage of our airport. Any follow-up? On the existing logistics facilities in airport, there will be a lot of other sites to be designated for logistics use in other areas. Will those pose pressure on the airport's logistics facilities? How sustainable the facilities in the airport are? When we launched the logistics circle at Hung Shou Kyu, the positive feedback has been received from the sector. As for logistics facilities in airport, we also have a lot of plans there. So there will be an increase in courier activities and other activities. I think we can, both of them work together, can make the pie larger. Mr. Andrew Fan, thank you, Chair. Let me declare an interest. Paragraphs 19 to 21. I'm an independent non-executive director of the Professional Aeronautic Services Company mentioned in paragraphs 19 and 20. And I also take part in such a business. Now, you mentioned about Terminal 2. I suggest that for your stress test, you should work together with the chairman and invite us to a site visit of the T2. Second question on Skytopia. Do you know that there is a commercial project named 11 Sky situated near Skytopia? Business has not been good for that facility. So have you considered the risk management aspect? Paragraphs 19 to 20 said that the government plans to develop Hong Kong into an airport parts processing and trading center through starting business on aircraft parts maintenance, inspection, and so on. You said that the company has been brought in February 2025. To my understanding, aircraft parts processing and trading is its entire supply chain, and one company should not suffice. Now, it is April 2026, so from February 2025, how many companies have you approached? How many companies have you approached so that we can really build the entire supply chain? And then I have talked to practitioners in the trade. How would you establish a reciprocal certification mechanism on aircraft parts with your overseas counterparts? And how can you ensure that the parts that we process will be recognized by the Civil Administration of China and also CAAC and ESA so that our parts can really go global? Who will take the question, please? First, let me answer the question about aircraft parts processing, and then I'll defer to Mr. Chan to talk about Skytopia. Thank you, member, for your question. We agree that more should be done. You referred to one company last year. So that was the first step that we took. We, together with AAHK, have been approached similar companies. We hope to build an entire ecosystem and supply chain. I must mention that, say, on engines, they come up with a good high value and can be rented out easily. And that is related to the tax concession on aircraft leasing. So the two policies should be integrated to help us. So we hope to bring in more enterprises in the sector to establish a presence in Hong Kong. I'll defer to Ms. Chan to talk about Skytopia. Thank you, Mr. Fan, for your question. On 11 Skies, after the pandemic, we see a change in the spending pattern of people. This is a major retail shopping mall. I think the positioning will be changed, where people will first have meals before they consider shopping. So I think the elements of dining will be boosted up in that shopping mall. 11 Skies is managed by New World Development, and we are in close liaison with them. We hope that their positioning can also tie in with the development of Skytopia, and that a synergy can be achieved. We're still talking to them, and after our discussion, more details can be shared with members. Thank you. Mr. Perry Yiu, Chair, I declare I am a member of the board of AAHK, and I thank AAHK colleagues for reporting to us the latest progress and development of the airport. We look forward to the early commissioning of T2, and I hope that we can all take part in the activity on the day of the commissioning. Starting 1st of October, the exemption for passenger departure tax has come into effect. Has the government assessed the impact on the transit passengers and on where there has been an marked increase in the number of transit passengers, because transit passengers are most important to our efforts to consolidate as the aviation transit hub. Now, on operating new routes, the year before last, I visited together with the trade to Kazakhstan in the mid-Asia. We want to open up the market. We hope that they can resume the direct flight between that place in the Central Asia and Hong Kong. Their response has been very positive, but then ultimately they turned to Guangzhou instead of Hong Kong. Maybe there may be subsidies given to them in Guangzhou, and their appeal then to them is higher. Apart from extending your aviation network, does the government have any plans to encourage airlines to operate new routes? Two questions. Thank you, Mr. Yu, for your question. Last year, we exempted transit passengers from air passage departure tax. We need more time to gauge the response and whether there has been an obvious increase in the numbers. About 25 as compared to 2024, the number of transit passengers has risen. Is it entirely because of that policy, or is it due to some other factors? So we need more time to ascertain the causes of that increase. When we have more data, we can report the same to members. But anyway, passengers' response has been most positive, and we told airlines that they should help publicize the initiative among transit passengers. And the AAHK has also arranged for free layover tour service for transit passengers as well. So with all these initiatives, we hope that we can increase the number of transit passengers. As for extending the aviation network, Mr. Yu is right in pointing out that should be done. The AHK has an outreach team approaching the airlines, and financial preferential policies are also being rolled out. Now, as for the discussion on traffic rise, we adopt a targeted approach. In the past, we used to talk to the aviation authorities in discussing traffic rights. But now we will first understand the airline's business plans, and based on those, we will talk to the civil aviation authorities in that place. We've tried this several times, and we think this is a more effective approach. So these are the initiatives we will undertake to extend or widen our aviation network. We still have 30 minutes left, and we have 6 members waiting to speak, so you should speak no more than 5 minutes. Mr. Lau Kakang. Thank you, Chair. The 3RS was commissioned at the end of 2025, and the passenger capacity has been boosted. I'm happy to see that the airport has been awarded many international recognition, including the world's best airport, and that goes to show that we are an international aviation hub. In paragraph 7, it is mentioned that the AHK launched a free layover tour service in September 2025. Would you consider cooperating with local travel agents to launch a fee-levying in-depth tourism products? For example, one-day tour in Lantau, a visit to the Buddha, to the fishing village in Tai O, so that they can get a taste of unique culture in Hong Kong. And there are suggestions that some mainland tourists would come to Hong Kong through XRL and transfer by air to other places. And some overseas visitors come through Hong Kong and transfer to the mainland. So they have to carry their own luggage when they do so. Will the government consider to launch some facilitating measures so that there is a seamless connection among these different transport modes? In paragraph 9, it is said that the TA will be commissioned towards the end of May, and 15 airlines will be relocated gradually. Now, for the space vacated by T1, how would you make use of the space? 3 questions, please.
Perhaps I'll defer the question to airport authority, and they will be talking about transit passengers taking high-speed train and the connection with T1. Mr. Yu, please. Well, let me briefly respond to the question regarding transit visitors. We received very positive feedback. We have 3 trips. For the short trips, we take them to Sunny Bay and Wan Tai Sin, and we take the passengers to West Kowloon district as well. We're working with different institutions. These projects have already started, and there will be another trip covering the whole Victoria Harbour. Secondly, as for connectivity between aviation and railway, we're working on that, and we're working with MTR to see if there will be more facilities at the high-speed railway station, so the passengers can easily take the high-speed train after leaving the airport. We will announce some new measures shortly in the next few months. We will be surely following up on that. Well, finally, given that 8 million passengers will be moved from T1 to T2, but those airlines operating at T1 will grow as well. So very quickly, those vacant places will be taken by this new airlines as well. So we will be surely to occupy the spaces on both sides. Next, Mr. Webster. I have a question regarding paragraph 19 to 21 on the aircraft dismantling parts recycling industry. I agree with the input by other members. This is a professional sector, and it can help Hong Kong solidify its position as an international aviation hub. This is indeed an industry, and it involves public investment. So, will there be any facilities or training facilities in your investment plan? What's your estimate? What's the possible market share that we can take? Because this is the first phase in our plan. Will we achieve a leading position in this market? Well, secondly, how does the airport authority plan to make an investment plan? Is it a private partnership, private-public partnership, or will you issue in bonds? Will you create some high-end positions? And how do you achieve break-even? 2 questions. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. for the questions. We introduced this French company, but not only airport authority is involved. Invest Hong Kong is also part of the project. We hope we're still working on the details. Discussion is still ongoing. So the member asked how many job positions will be created and how much economic benefit will be created. Yes, we will report to the Council on this details shortly. Well, we are working with the airport authority in training talents. As we said, the Aviation Academy will be working with the French company because they have some certified courses in repairment of aircraft parts and courses in transaction of aircraft parts. There will be some very technical programs that will be working with Aviation Academy in starting these courses. There will be 300 students, not only from Hong Kong. We hope that the course can be open to the GBA and Southeast Asia. This company will also be carrying out dismantling of aircraft in the airport, and airport authority will provide some spaces for them to dismantle aircraft. Some precious parts can be used and other parts can be moved to another place for recycling. Well, the last step was not under the remit of the airport authority, but it's part of the whole industry chain. If we have more details, we will report on these details to the Council in due course. Next, Mr. Chen Xiuhong. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chair, over the past few years, the excellent performance of Hong Kong International Authority was really remarkable. Now, with the operation of the 3-runway system, given the increasing passenger flow and given the new projects in the airports, and I appreciate the excellent work by the administration and the airport authority. In terms of financial numbers, on top of growth in passenger flow, we have seen solid financial performance of the airport authority, and they have started giving dividends to Hong Kong government. I hope you can keep up with the momentum. I have 2 questions. Number 1, I'm interested in knowing more about Terminal 2. I thank the airport authority for the briefing session for C15. I would like to know more about T2. Well, if you look at the drills are necessary because before the official operation starts, these drills will be very useful. These drills will involve 1,000 personnel, but is that enough? In May, T2 will start operation, and very soon, T2 will be faced with a huge passenger flow. If there is no stress test, what if there are serious problems? Secondly, people are always anxious to board their flights. In T2, if they have boarding passes and they check the baggage, and then they will take escalators and the train, and before they reach the boarding gates, if we are in peak times, if they're very anxious, if they are afraid of missing flights, what can they do? So can you please give a peace of mind to the passengers? Thirdly, I can see that the paper is silent on the collaboration of Airport Authority with Zhuhai Airport. In 2023, you have acquired 25% of the stakes in Zhuhai Airport, and there are connection services between Zhuhai Airport and Hong Kong Airport. How many passengers have actually used these services? Do you have a number? Have you started cooperation in cargo services with the Zhuhai Airport? Is there any more progress on the collaboration with Zhuhai Airport? 2 minutes. Please be brief. Chairman, perhaps I can invite Mr. Yu to talk about T2, and Mr. Leung will be talking about Zhuhai Airport. Yes, indeed, the stress test is very important. Well, 1,000 personnel seem a lot, but we can reduce the time limits to 3 minutes. There are many points to look at, security checks, customs, trains, etc. So we are very careful. We will reduce the time to a specific point where we can estimate the per hour traffic flow, passenger flow. Secondly, service standards. In terms of design, the T2 will be better than T1, and in T1, for any passengers, if they check 40 minutes before the flight departure, they can make sure that they will board the plane. This is the same for T2, and sometimes the passengers will take the train and they don't have to walk on the passenger way before reaching the passenger boarding gate. This is the same in T2. And perhaps my colleague can report on the Zhuhai Airport situation. In 2023, we started the campaign for flying via Hong Kong through Zhuhai. There were 110,000 passengers who have used the services. Perhaps I can share with you more numbers. In 2026, the passenger flow increased from 790,000 to 13 million. Well, this ranked 34 in Chinese airports, and this is the only airport with over 10 million passengers without international departure, and for port it increased it to 40,000 tons. And we use the same rationale, and now we are building, we're carrying out some tests for custom checks for cargo. Thank you. Next, Mr. Alan Chen. Thank you, Chair. Well, first of all, I support the airport authorities' long-term plan. The long-term plan covers many aspects. I have 2 follow-up questions and 2 comments. Number 1, given the vibrant regional trades, how can we acquire more flight rates? I know Hainan Airport has the 7th flight rate, and Guangzhou Airport is also competing to be the southern gate, if you will, to China. Can you please be more ambitious in expanding Hong Kong's 5th flight rate and even 7th flight rate, so we can attract more Middle East airlines to Hong Kong to use Hong Kong as a transit hub? Secondly, expanding new air routes. Will you introduce specific subsidies? You know, Shenzhen Airport and Guangzhou Airport have some campaigns to attract more passengers. Our experience tells us if the administration or the airport authority can give more subsidies, we can explore air networks connecting Middle East or Central Asia markets. These are my 2 questions. I have 2 comments. Number 1, Every day, 10 destinations coming to Hong Kong airport, and these are cities without individual visitor scheme. Well, now we have the capacity, so if these cities are not included in the individual visitor scheme, are we wasting resources? Can we please open the cities to the scheme as soon as possible? Secondly, the Airport Authority says that you are collaborating with 3 airlines. That's good, but Southern Airlines are headquartered in Guangzhou. And secondly, in Beijing, where Air China is headquarters, and airports, Air China has stakes in Cathay Pacific. I believe they will not give us more resources. And the only opportunity lies with Eastern Airlines. I hope you can work with Eastern Airlines more so we can achieve a mutual benefit, because it's impossible for us to work with Air China or Southern Airlines. Thank you. For your first 2 questions on the 5th flight rate, well, last year in our negotiation with stakeholders on the flight rate, we achieved some results. Last year, we signed a new agreement, including some very important destinations like Chile, Peru, and Poland. For the 5th Freedom Right flights, we need to take a targeted approach. Whether we can leverage on the 5th Freedom flights, we will see if we can leverage on Hong Kong's aviation hub to exchange for some benefits from other stakeholders. As the member said, on top of the Freedom flights, we are working with the Airport Authority in providing more economic benefits so airlines can expand their flights. The AA issued a plan to expand networks a few years ago. We have attracted some airlines and expanded and increased the 96 new air routes, and the outreach teams will be stepping up their effort to achieve more results.
Mr. Jonathan Lamport, the 15th five-year plan supports Hong Kong's upgrading its status as an international aviation hub. I and the General Chamber of Commerce support the building of the airport city. Well, my questions on Skytopia have been covered by another member. I will not repeat the question. I hope that the government can consider modeling after the cruise terminal, the experience because there were initially many good ideas, but the project has not been faring well recently. So for Skytopia, I think you should put more effort on how to do the job better. Now, let me share some experience as a user. Many overseas airports have e-check-in services, and luggage can also be subject to the same. So can the AA consider doing something similar? And I also appreciate the airport city link, or the sky corridor rather. Well, the scenery from there is very good, but it's a long distance away from the main terminal. So at Air T2, please put up more signages which are clearer. Thank you, Deputy Secretary. Thank you, member, for your question. As for T2, as what Mr. Yu said, most of the services will be automated, like say luggage check-in will be automated. No follow-up. No. Thank you. Now, last member, Ms. Vivian Kong. Thank you, Chair. First, I would like to congratulate the Hong Kong airport becoming the world's best airport in 2026, and many awards have been snatched by the airport. And the blueprint has incorporated many high-end tourism. But these plans will be materialized in a long time. So in the interim, can you put in some short-term initiatives so that visitors can get a better feel of the city and extend their stay in Hong Kong? And will the AA work together with the tourism industry to launch one-ticket intermodal passes so that the airport can be better connected to attractions in Tung Chung and Lantau? Has the AA collaborated with the TB to incorporate the Hong Kong Neighborhoods program in the transit layover service? So such service should be upgraded to a tourism product with special or unique features. Let me respond briefly. Thank you, Mr. Kong, for your question. For Skytopia, while some of the projects may take time to be realized, we will work in phases. For example, the second phase of AWE, the works have commenced and they will be commissioned earlier than the other projects. At the same time, we will work closely with the TB on providing tour service to transit passengers. We will take them to city attractions. We will take them on a one-day tour. So AHK will be pulled in together with the TB to work on this. No follow-up? Well, thank you, members, for all your questions and the government office's response. Within this year, the administration will introduce the relevant legislative proposals to the LegCo. Members, do we support these proposals? Yes. Members that do agree that these proposals will be further discussed at the Council. So that's it for this item. And I thank the government officers for the AHK for taking part in this meeting. Last item on the agenda, AOB. No AOB meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.